Hey everybody, this is Steve Krause. This is what a typical day really looks like for me. This is sort of the pre-post gym kind of outfit, but I thought I'd go ahead and record this video to introduce the show and tell part of the invention and technology thing. I was reluctant to show you any examples, but let me share a few with you right now of students from the past, just to give you an idea of some of the things that I've seen. So for example, here you have cereal, I think that's what that is, spread a lot of food. Here's another picture from a couple years ago also of noodles, very common. This next one's unusual. What he did is he took a glow stick and he broke it, wrote with it, but he had to take several pictures because the writing kept on disappearing as he went. So a number of things have emerged for me over the years about this that hopefully have emerged for you too that you'll be writing about below here. One is that one of the hardest parts of this assignment is actually the surface. Because people, when they think of writing technologies, they think of, this, like a pen, that kind of thing. But really, we don't think of this paper as a technology, really. But this is really very sophisticated. It's very difficult it's relatively easy to come up with something like this, but it's hard to come up with something like this. It's just something to think about, if you haven't done this before. It's very time-consuming to do this. The shape of the letter is very much directly related to the tool that you use, which is interesting to think about in relationship to some of the stuff that Dennis Barron talks about with Sumerian writing and how some of the ancient Sumerian writing was really related to the tools that they used to write with in the first place. A lot of these projects are interesting in terms of climate because you'll notice all those projects are sort of indoor projects, and I think this might be the case with many of yours as well because it's winter. And so the kinds of projects that people complete for this assignment in the spring or summer are very different from the ones that they complete during the winter. One of the other things I've noticed over the years is the collaborative nature of some of these projects. I've had any number of students who've worked with family members or their own students or whatever to make a project work, which is interesting to think about in the sense that writing technologies tend to allow us to have writing be a solitary activity, whereas if you're laying out rocks or stones or something like that in a park, not so much. So these are just some of the basic observations I've seen over the years. Now, just in terms of some of the logistics of how to get your picture of your project up onto the class website. Well, really the easiest way to do it is just make an entry into your blog and then post a link of your blog into the comments section. Let me show you what I mean. So this is a new blog entry, My Writing Tech. Then this looks like your blog. Click where it says Add Media. Then click where it says Upload Files, and then click where it says Select Files. And then you want to navigate back to your computer. In this case, I just had that picture on my desktop. It takes a second to upload, and then you just insert into the post, and then you can write whatever you want after that, and then you could just post that. For our purposes, all you need to do is post a link to your blog entry into the comments section on this entry, and then that'll be the show and telling, the sharing, and then within your blog post you can explain a little bit about the technology that you made. Special bonus points for those of you who figure out how to just insert the image itself into the blog entry. But like I said, as long as you can insert your link to that blog entry into the comments, you'll be fine. It's going to be something like http://whatever .wordpress.com/ and then the name of the entry. If you look at the space on the browser where the URL is for your blog entry, that's what you want to paste in. And if that still doesn't make sense, let me know. Now, the next thing you have to do that I want to talk about here is how to get that Google Doc set up to work. So here's another short little explanation of that. Okay, for our first thing you need to do is change the name of this document to something that is not untitled document. I'm calling this just Invent Tech Project, but you could call yours something along those lines. And then you type stuff, and this works pretty much like a word processor, and we can talk about some of the details of that if you want, but it's very straightforward, so hopefully this is not really something you need to worry too much about. Then to insert the image itself, and you might as well insert it in your essay, you click under Insert Image, and then you simply go back to, navigate back to your computer and find your image and insert it just like before. And then what's nice about that is that then the picture of your technology is right there as you write about it. And then you write about it and you're making references to the readings, etc., etc. Now when it comes to sharing the document, Here's the steps for that. First, what you want to do is you want to click where it says share, and then this will bring up this menu, and right now it's set for private. Change that to anyone with a link, and also change the can view to can comment. This is critical if you want other people to make comments on this. Now that right there, that link is the link that you're going to share. You're going to copy that, and then that is the link that you're going to paste into EMU Online in the section for the Dropbox. I can't really demonstrate that very well because your EMU Online looks different from my EMU Online, but the point is this: you want to log into EMU Online, you want to select the Invent Your Own Technology Dropbox, and then in the space, there's a text space where you can write stuff. There's also a way to attach a message, but there's a text space where you can write stuff. In that text space where you can write stuff, that's where you want to paste in the link to your Google Doc. Okay, does that make sense? That part is due by Friday, so if you're running into trouble with it, let me know before then for sure. Okay, a couple other things just in terms of announcements before we show and tell for the rest of this week. The first thing is that I'll be sending everybody an email sometime before this weekend, hopefully, to just give everybody a heads up in terms of how I think that you're doing so far with participation in the class. It's one of the things that's kind of hard to gauge in these online classes. Am I participating enough? Am I not participating too much? You get the idea. So I'll try to do that. The other thing I'll be doing between now and about Friday, Saturday or so is looking at what people have posted on their blog so far and share some highlights of that on this site as well. You can do the same thing. All you need to do is just look at the blogs that are linked over on the side there and see what people have written. And what you can do too is you can do the same thing I've done, which is set up a Google Reader to follow these things in one space. We'll talk more about how to do that a little bit later. Okay, I hope this is good so far. As always, I will see you online.